Today is Thursday, July 28th. What to know about the latest decision from the Federal Reserve and how it will impact everyday Americans. Also, a possible deal to bring home WNBA star Brittney Griner and another American, what the U.S. is reportedly offering Russia in return. Plus, new hope for a cure, how 2 HIV patients were able to beat the virus. What determines whether your home security footage could end up in the hands of the police? And who was picked as a new permanent Jeopardy host? All that and more stories coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. The Federal Reserve took another aggressive step to try and tame historically high inflation. For the second time this summer, the Fed raised interest rates by 0.75 points. That raises the key rate to a range of 2.25% to 2.5%, meaning it costs Americans more to borrow money now than it has at any time since 2018. Remember, the idea is that when the Fed raises rates, it's making it more pricey to take out a mortgage or an auto or business loan or new credit card debt. So people and businesses start borrowing and spending less, cooling the economy. The Fed is betting it will be able to slow things down just enough to tame inflation, but officials don't want to cause layoffs or raise unemployment, since the jobs market has been the one bright spot in our economy lately. The Federal Reserve meets again in September, November, and December, and it is possible they announce more rate hikes every time. Democrats on Capitol Hill have a new plan to address inflation, climate change, taxes, and health care. It's called the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, and it costs nearly $740 billion. Democrats say a lot of that money would come from raising the corporate minimum tax to 15% and by better enforcing tax rules over at the IRS. As far as where the money could go, about half of it would be spent on climate and energy programs like tax credits for buying electric vehicles. Another $64 billion would go to extend healthcare subsidies. Then the rest would go toward bringing down the federal deficit, something supporters say would help lower inflation. The Senate Majority Leader says he expects the Senate to vote on this bill next week. And it is likely to pass, since moderate Democrat Senator Joe Manchin has given it the green light. And remember, he's been a critical vote in the 50-50 Senate because there are many times he sides with Republicans. But it seems this time will be different. Still, Republicans are expected to vote no on this. Already, some say raising taxes on businesses will hurt the job market. Assuming it does pass, though, in both the House and Senate, President Biden is expected to sign it into law. In a rare moment of outreach, the U.S. has offered a deal to Russia. American diplomats are now hoping Russia accepts it and releases 2 U.S. citizens. They are WNBA player Brittney Griner, who's been in custody in Russia on drug-related charges since February, and former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, who's been in a Russian prison for more than 3 years accused of being a spy. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken did not offer specifics on the deal, but sources told CNN and other news outlets that the U.S. government is suggesting a prisoner swap, that if Russia lets Griner and Whelan go, the U.S. will release a convicted Russian arms dealer. That deal was reportedly offered despite opposition from the U.S. Justice Department. The DOJ has been against prisoner swaps for a while, since officials worry they'll only give countries incentive to detain more Americans to use as bargaining chips. But advocates like Griner and Whelan's families have argued it's more important that Americans get to come home. Up next, Blinken says he'll speak with his Russian counterpart this week for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine. To be continued. American healthcare workers are about to be better equipped to stop monkeypox outbreaks in their tracks. The FDA just signed off on a big batch of monkeypox vaccines coming from Denmark. That means nearly 800,000 doses will be shipped to local health departments all around the country. And it's a pretty big deal since they're the only type of FDA-approved vaccine meant just to treat monkeypox. There are already millions of older smallpox vaccines that are also considered effective against monkeypox. But unlike the newer shots, the old ones have been shown to cause serious side effects. Still, there's no widespread vaccine rollout planned for either option. For now, the CDC only recommends the shots for people who may have been exposed to monkeypox or are considered high risk. At last count, the CDC had reported more than 4,600 monkeypox cases in the United States across almost every state. So far, it's mostly spreading among men who have sex with other men, but no one is immune. Health authorities all over the world are keeping an eye on it. President Biden is finally able to get back in the Oval Office. As we told you last week, Biden has been in isolation with COVID-19. That lasted 6 days until the president tested negative yesterday. Now he says he's feeling great. He credits vaccines and treatments for giving him only a mild case. And Biden used the occasion to encourage Americans who are not up to date on their vaccines and boosters to get caught up. We have more news for you still ahead. But first, a quick break for our sponsor, ZocDoc. If you're like my family, you like to pore over lists of reviews before deciding on where to book a reservation for brunch or dinner. So why not do the same when you're booking a doctor's appointment? With ZocDoc, you can see real, verified patient reviews to help find the right doctor in your network and in your neighborhood. ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Yep, that's the other key here. You filter your search to only show doctors that take your insurance, which is such a time saver. And on ZocDoc, you can find every specialist under the sun. Whether you're trying to straighten those teeth, fix an achy back, get a mole checked out, or anything else, ZocDoc has you covered. Plus, ZocDoc's mobile app is as easy as reserving that brunch spot online or getting delivery to your house. Search, find, and book doctors with a few taps. Go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy, ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. 2 more HIV patients appear to be the latest to have beaten the virus. A 66-year-old man in Southern California is now the 5th and oldest person yet who appears to have completely rid his body of HIV. He's had the virus that causes AIDS for more than 30 years, until he got a stem cell transplant to treat blood cancer, and the donor was naturally resistant to HIV. Now the virus is nowhere to be found in his body, though the stem cell transplant is an extremely risky procedure. In the other case, Spanish researchers say a 70-year-old woman who received immune-boosting therapies in 2006 as part of a clinical trial still has HIV in some cells, but is considered to be in viral remission for over 15 years now. It's not clear yet if her control of the virus is because of that treatment she had, a result of genetic factors, or maybe both. Word of these cases comes at a time when the fight against this virus around the world has faced a setback. So these latest 2 cases are said to be giving people with HIV hope and giving scientists new inspiration. It's official now. Spirit Airlines will not merge with fellow budget airline Frontier after all. Instead, it'll hold talks with JetBlue about a possible deal. Remember, back in May, we told you JetBlue launched a hostile takeover. In other words, when Spirit's board of directors turned down JetBlue's offer to buy them, JetBlue went straight to Spirit's shareholders instead and have continued to sweeten the offer to buy. And it seems those efforts worked. Just before the shareholder vote this week on the Frontier merger, Spirit announced the deal is off, that the support for it just wasn't there. So now talks with JetBlue continue, though Spirit's board has worried regulators won't approve that deal. If it does go through, though, a JetBlue takeover of Spirit would create the country's 5th largest airline. Federal regulators want to stop Meta from acquiring a virtual reality company. Meta, formerly Facebook, wants to acquire the company Within, which owns the VR fitness app Supernatural. But the FTC has filed a complaint to block the deal, saying Meta already owns a similar app, Beat Saber. The FTC argues letting Meta move forward with this acquisition would get rid of the main competition in this space. But Meta is pushing back. The company says the FTC's case is based on speculation, not evidence, and that the online and connected fitness space has tons of growth and plenty of competition. Meanwhile, on the same day the FTC sued Meta, the company reported its first decline in revenue since going public a decade ago. It was only a 1% drop in quarterly revenue compared to the year before, but still, it was a drop. Meta blamed weaker demand for digital advertising overall and the broader economic uncertainty. Beyonce fans were dealt a big temptation this week. The singer's new, highly anticipated album leaked online about 36 hours before it was supposed to be officially released. This came as a shock, and when the leak came out, her fans were torn. Some were, of course, excited to hear the new music as soon as possible, but Beyonce's fan club, known as the Beehive, sent out alerts telling fans to hold off. Yesterday, Twitter disabled multimedia tweets with the word leak. It also shut down the hashtags Beyonce and Renaissance, which is the name of her new album. Either way, the highly anticipated new release is set to officially drop tonight at midnight. Jeopardy has finally reached a decision. Both actress Mayim Bialik and former champion Ken Jennings will be the permanent hosts of the popular game show. This ends a search that's been going on for nearly 2 years, ever since longtime host Alex Trebek passed away. Already, Bialik and Jennings have been filling in, and now they'll split the hosting duties. Jennings will be the face of Jeopardy from September through December. Bialik will take over in January. And eventually, the show will come up with a new long-term schedule that works for everyone. Well, that's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. But first, a quick break to thank our sponsor, Indeed. No one knows what tomorrow's headlines will be, except for the people who will shape them. If your business wants to make a positive impact for tomorrow, you need to hire great people fast. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Indeed puts you in control of what you pay. You set your must-have job requirements and only pay for the applications that meet them. There's a transparent flat fee per application, and you can pause your job posting whenever you want. Again, Indeed's doing something no other job site has done. Now with Indeed, businesses only pay for quality applications matching the sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/newsworthy to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/newsworthy. Indeed.com/newsworthy. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, now back to Thing to Know Thursday. Today, we are talking about how police might be able to access your home security video, sometimes without a warrant. Amazon-owned Ring was first to come under fire because it said it gave police footage more than 10 times so far this year without a court order. Then, privacy advocates pointed out that Google can also send police footage from their Nest cams anytime as well. It says it right in their terms of service. Privacy advocates have been upset about this, arguing policies like that could lead to police abusing the system. And they say it should only be up to a judge giving a warrant or a device owner to decide whether to hand over the footage. But both Amazon and Google have defended their policies, saying they only share video in real emergency situations, when they think someone could be in immediate danger and time is of the essence, like in kidnapping cases, for example. Other home security companies still have stricter rules, though. But to be clear, all the companies are legally required to turn video over once there's a warrant, so that home video is never totally private. All right, thank you so much for listening today. We will be back with much more news to know tomorrow, starting at 4 a.m. Until then, have a great day.